All right, today we're diving into a really huge, world-changing idea from the autobiography of Reverend Sun Myung Moon. It's a proposal for something called the International Peace Highway, and it's designed to physically and spiritually connect the entire planet. Honestly, the ambition here is just staggering, so let's get right into it.
You know, this one sentence really gets to the heart of the whole vision. This isn't just about paving a new road. Think of it like a living, breathing network, like the tiny blood vessels in a body, connecting every single part of the world and allowing people, culture, and ideas to just flow freely.
And that leads us to the big question, right? Can a piece of infrastructure, no matter how massive, actually heal thousands of years of human division and conflict? It's a pretty bold claim, so let's unpack how this is all supposed to work.
Okay, so first we have to understand the problem that this highway is trying to solve. The source material basically frames all of human history as a story of us building more and more walls. Walls between religions, between nations, between different peoples, leading to all this endless conflict.
So the ultimate goal is nothing short of creating a single, unified global community. It's about completely reversing that historical trend of division. And the Peace Highway? Well, that's proposed as the actual physical tool to help make that huge idea a reality.
So what would this thing actually look like? I mean, how do you physically connect continents that are separated by giant oceans? Let's get into the nuts and bolts of what would easily be one of the most incredible engineering projects ever attempted.
The whole plan really depends on two enormous projects. First up, an undersea tunnel that would connect Japan to South Korea, linking it to the Asian mainland. Then, the even bigger one, a bridge across the Bering Strait, physically connecting Russia and North America. You pull those two off, and suddenly the entire world's road network becomes one single system. And the implications of that are, well, they're profound. Just imagine being able to get in a car in Cape Town, South Africa, and drive all the way to New York City. The argument is that when travel becomes that easy, that seamless, the whole idea of a national border starts to just fade away. It loses its power to divide us.
But you know, this whole thing is about way more than just making travel easier. It's actually envisioned as the spark for a massive cultural and economic revolution across the globe.
So you've got this incredible contrast, right? On one side, the world defined by borders, conflict, and inequality, and on the other, the future this highway is meant to create, a world of free passage, mutual understanding, and this really radical new economic model.
And to illustrate this, there's this really powerful historical comparison to the Silk Road. You see, the Silk Road wasn't just about moving silk and spices. It was a pathway for ideas, for religions, for entire cultures to meet, to mix, and to create something totally new. The Peace Highway is imagined as a modern, global version of that.
And a critical piece of this is this idea of leveling of wealth. Now, this isn't about charity. The source describes it as a complete reorganization of the global economy. It means wealthier nations would have to be willing to sacrifice, to share their technology and their resources to help bring everyone else up.
Of course, a project this huge faces some absolutely monumental obstacles. I mean, it's really easy to just hear all this and dismiss it as a fantasy, but the text does actually try to anticipate and address some of the biggest real-world challenges.
And yeah, the first question on everyone's mind has to be the money. We're talking about tunnels under oceans and bridges between continents. The cost would be astronomical. So how on earth could you pay for all of this?
The answer that's proposed is just as radical as the highway itself. Stop spending money on war. The argument is that the hundreds of billions of dollars spent on global military conflicts could easily fund these world-connecting projects instead.
So this isn't really just a budget proposal. It's a deep moral argument. It's underscored by this famous quote, which is really a call to fundamentally shift humanity's priorities away from destruction and toward creation.
But okay, beyond the money, you've got these deep historical political rivalries. How do you convince nations with long histories of conflict, like China and Japan, to connect with a highway? The source suggests that this would take a new kind of leadership, people described as spiritual owners of the project, who can rise above national interests to build that trust.
And the vision doesn't even stop with the highway. The argument is that to support this new, hyper-connected world, we'd also need a totally new form of global governance. So the starting point here is a pretty sharp critique of the United Nations. The argument goes that the UN as it exists now has kind of lost its way, that it's become a tool for a few powerful countries to push their own agendas instead of being a true force for world peace.
So, the proposed solution is a restructured two-chamber UN. You'd keep the General Assembly, with political leaders representing their national interests. But, and this is the key, you'd add a new religious council right alongside it, made up of respected spiritual leaders from around the world, tasked with representing humanity's shared moral compass.
And the whole point is that you need both. The core belief here is that true, lasting peace is only possible when you combine the practical, political experience of national leaders with the deep moral and spiritual wisdom that interreligious leaders can bring to the table. And really, this quote just ties it all together. The International Peace Highway, this massive physical project, provides the physical communication, but it's only ever a tool. The real goal, the ultimate goal, is to spark that communication of heart, a deeper spiritual connection between every single person on Earth.
So, it leaves us with this huge question to chew on. In our world, which feels more fractured than ever, what would it really take, not just physically but spiritually and politically, to finally connect all of us as one human family?